Hi, my name's Paul Struthers. I'm Frameline's Director of Exhibition and Programming. Welcome to Frameline44. We're on until September 27th, showcasing the best new LGBTQ plus films from around the world. Speaking of the best new LGBTQ plus films from around the world, you have just watched the amazing film No Hard Feelings. And now it's time for the Q&A. We have three excellent guests. Please, can you introduce yourself and tell us your role on the film?
Hi, I'm Faraz. I'm the director and writer of No Hard Feelings.
I'm Benjamin Radjaipour, and I play the character of Parvis.
I'm Banafshe Hourmazdi, and I'm playing the character named Banafshe.
Well, thanks so much for joining us today. It's early in Oakland, and I believe it must be afternoon, evening in Berlin. So the first question is for Faraz. It's such a wonderful story. It feels so authentic. Can you tell us where the idea for the film came from and the process of getting it made, research, etc., all that sort of stuff?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a autofiction, so there are some parts of the film, especially the premises and the characters around the family of Parvis that evolved from the biography of my own family, and then there's also, I think, a very there's a, like the when I was, I think, 23 in the summer of 2015, I was caught shoplifting and sentenced to serve community hours in a refugee shelter in the small town where I studied back then and where we also shot No Hard Feelings. And yeah, I think when I started to serve those hours and have conversations with people who I translated for, and also maybe even began to reflect more the migration story of my own family by encountering people that somehow re-inhabited the stories that my parents told me, but from 30 years ago. I started to develop the idea for No Hard Feelings, and then ping-ponged it with Paulina Lawrence, who also co-wrote the script. And yeah, we took it from there, and also we're working in a collective and began very early to do research and meet actors such as Benjamin and Banafshe. Banafshe, who was, I think, the first who was on board, and that was, I think, 2 years before we shot the film, so on a very, very early stage, and just tried to, create some first proper ideas for the script and the approach also on production.
Thanks for that excellent answer. And Benjamin, congratulations on an outstanding performance. It's really a wonderful, special performance. One of my favorite performances of this year. I'm not supposed to say that, but I will. Can you tell us about the casting process and what attracted you to the role?
First of all, thank you so much. I feel very, I feel very honored. The casting process, I was still in. This was in 2016, I think, early 2016, and I was still in acting school. I was in my last year of drama school, and Raquel Molt, who did the casting, I think. Told Faraz about me. I think she was researching young German actors of Iranian descent, and so I think she found me, and then we had a meeting, the three of us, and then I think, I got several versions of the script, of early stages of the script, and then we met to do chemistry sessions with different actors for the role of Amon. And I think it was sort of, I didn't even know that, I don't know at what point it was clear that I was going to be Parvis, but I assume early on. But to me, in the very beginning, to me, it wasn't so clear because I didn't know what other people they were interacting with or looking at. And so, but I think after Banafshe, I'm like the next person that was attached to the project 2 years before also shooting the film. And yeah, we just talked about, Faraz and I, we talked about, you know, the social and cultural context in which Parvis may have grown up in. We talked about similarities and differences in our own biography. I think Faraz and me being both young, queer, German-Iranian artists whose parents are Iranian immigrants, we have certain, there are a lot of parallels, but also differences. And so we sort of shaped a character throughout meeting over and over again and going through the script and changes in the script and meeting new people who eventually would play or not play other roles in the film. We over time shaped a character that was sort of based on Faraz's experiences, but also sort of was a middle ground queer fantasy fiction character that had sort of we shared a fantasy for.
And Banafshe, your performance is phenomenal as well. I just love it. Again, it's one of my favorite performances of the year. Can you tell us about how you got the role and what attracted you to the role?
Yeah, thank you, first of all. I don't know. I mean, for me, it was really like an untypical casting process. I was also like 2016, I was really early in my career. And when I got approached, there was a treatment of, I don't want to lie, but I think it was like 10 pages. And I met these two youngsters, Raquel and Faraz, who were, I was young, but they were even younger than me. And they wanted to make a feature film. And I was like, okay, like let them talk. Let's see what they're up to. And I realized pretty quickly that they actually know what they're talking about and they know what they want to say with this film. Maybe it wasn't like so like a crystal clear narrative, but it was, and I think it still is so different from anything else that I have read since then or that I have read before, like script wise and roles that I've been offered. It's sad, but it's also true. I mean, there's really like very few people who dare to tell this kind of story and also kind of like expose themselves in this story without making like with still giving the characters like dignity and like not exploiting them in their situations. Hope that's clear what I said. Sorry.
No, it was completely. And for us, I'm super intrigued by the casting of your parents, playing the parents of Parvis, but also you utilizing early home video footage of yourself. Can you talk a bit about that and how you managed to get your parents to say yes to be in your film?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for saying that, because it's also like, even though there are just very few scenes with my parents, in the end of the day, I think there's something surrounding their atmosphere and presence that is so important for the film. And it's also, I think, somehow due to the fact that a lot of the material, and by that I mean ideas and experiences, and also, yeah, as you mentioned, footage, was given by my parents to me in my late teenage years, and but they were full of dust, and I started to properly work with them when I was, I think, at my early years, and it's so interesting to me to see how my parents tried to format. I think I was gone for a second, but anyways, I continue. It was really, really interesting for me to see how my parents, and especially my father, tried to format the history through his VHS camera in early 1990 in Germany, and to see those images, and to also see the somehow this unseen fictional potential of that images, because they were so, I don't know, there was me dancing in this Sailor Moon dress in front of the TV, my mother in this very extravagant 90s fashion, and everything, all of that happening in a rural area in Germany. And I don't know, I think it was just a very inspirational dialogue I was having with that footage, and creatively it does. I have worked with my parents for a long time. It's I think the third or fourth project that we've been working on, and it's just, I think, an important aspect to my creative approach also, especially when working with biographies, to dare to ask questions to older generations and learn from them, but also oppose them in a way. And yeah, I think it's just, in the end of the day, they're just badass and fun and really cool people, and I want to share that with the world.
Cool. And what did your parents think of the film?
They were actually really happy about it. I mean, obviously, it is very intense. I can only imagine to see yourself chopped into a frame and somehow intertwined in a narrative that you might have read properly, but still you didn't really have an idea of what it would look like and feel like and what it would stand next to. And I think that just created a lot of disorientation in the first place. But they were really, really, I think, proud and confident, and also felt empowered that, for example, a German audience such as the Berlinale, which it is for my parents, invited us to share our voice or our story with the public. And also the public being interested in that, I think, was a very monumental moment for not just us, but also my family.
Yeah. Talking about family, Banafshe, you and Amon, it's as if you're actual siblings. Can you tell us what it was like working with the actor who plays Amon, and how you achieved this amazing chemistry?
I think that's also, I really like a lot of Faraz's work as a director, who forced us to spend the whole shoot together in one apartment, with Benjamin also being there. And also I think, I don't know if it's correct to say that, because we in Germany, we have really little knowledge of method acting, and we just hear what is method acting. But I think we tried to do this in the preparation for the film. And yeah, Faraz forced us to do something, didn't force us, he encouraged us to do things together. And to stay in character for a really long time. And I think it was really also well cast, also by Raquel, who did the casting, that we all fit together so well. So I think they really gave us a good ground to build a chemistry on, I think.
No, it's so true. The casting is just so spot on. It's just everyone seems to be friends or family or lovers. Talking about lovers, Benjamin, the build-up of the love between yourself and Amon is really, really beautiful. What was it like working with the actor who plays Amon, and how did you achieve this genuine growth of love?
It's funny because I don't think we experienced the shooting of the film, and I'm not sure how it is for Banafshe or Aydin, but I feel like we, as the actors, we haven't really gone into examining the sort of the cause of all of this. We really we sort of bathed in this very sort of utopian social artistic context for those 4 or 5 weeks. And then we talked before and we talked after, and now that people are seeing the film slowly, we get these kinds of reactions, and we knew that all along that we did have something special. But it's always I don't know, it was just second nature. It's not like I think it's, first of all, it's the experiences that you share, and as much as I wish that, or maybe there's a beauty in sort of these essentialist moments where, you know, where you come from or the way you've been raised does matter in a certain context, and all of these similarities certainly, and the fact that we felt really safe in the working environment, and that there were a lot of young people of color involved, and also, you know, not just the people who acted with us, but also the people who wrote the film, and Faraz, who directed it, and Raquel, who is a young woman of color from Berlin. And it's all of these things that I think laid perfect ground to feel comfortable enough to sort of engage in that kind of like play with each other. And I think that's how it really came about. And also, I think that the three of us, we just naturally have great chemistry, and that there's a sense of trust that maybe it's not even based on real historic sort of events or like years and years of friendship, but just, I don't know, I feel like we just clicked, the three of us. And also because we're professional actors, you know, we all studied this, and we all work in theater and in film. And I think it's sort of really great when the professional and the social, when all these components, it sounds so pretentious, but it's true, you know? And yeah, I don't know, I wish I could say anything more intelligent, but it really came naturally in a way.
Wow. And Faraz, I've been thinking a lot about the film language, because I haven't seen a film that works with so many different types of film language, whether the film at some points it looks like it's a documentary, at other points it looks like it's a coming of age drama, at other points it looks as though it's a music video. Can you talk a bit about the film language? And also, I'm really interested to know how you worked with the cinematographer on this, because that must have been a big job to go from film language this, okay, we're changing it, we're doing this.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when we first started to talk about the visual approach, we considered the film to be somehow like a narrative or visual archive of migration, more than like a plot-driven, juicy, exciting film. And I think that idea of creating a film that combines and archives a lot of different current visual strategies and storytelling styles, and also ideas, was, I think, something that I'm sorry. Was something that, sorry, somebody just knocked the door. I think that to have these, to dare to find a language that delves into all the things that affect me as a millennial and pop cultural interested kids, and put that into a film that tackles all those themes, felt super empowering and intuitive for me. And I think there was always like this idea of finding like of the many, or of like trying to do something that is plural in its ways that it can be read. And I think that made so much sense for me, especially when trying to conserve this hybrid situation in which the characters and the our country and world even is right now. And with Simon Wu, the DP, we really said that, like, we don't want to, let's not make a film that explains the visual language in the first 5 minutes and then just continues to be like told through this very formal way. Let's rather find a way for each scene or sequence that we find interesting or that matches it, and don't really care about the other aspects of like how you should do a film, if that makes sense. And yeah, I think that just worked really well, because we worked together for 5 years already when we started the feature film, and mostly music videos, and that helped also a lot, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and the music's fantastic as well. My mom's from Ghana, so it's great to see some Ghanaian music in there as well, which is fab. Also, what I love about the film is it really mixes drama, important issues, but at the same time, these are young people having a good time. I'd like all of you to let me know what was the most fun scene for you in the film and the most fun scene to film. I think we've lost Faraz for a moment. I'm sure he'll be back shortly.
Shall we start?
You want to go first?
Most fun scene, I think the most fun scene was maybe this, we called it gang montage. I don't know what is it in English, like when we were in the bus and in the Späti and Amon came, and then in the restaurant, because it was really it was like some descriptions of what is going on in this scene, and it was a really like fun shot. It was all in the night, and we changed locations, and there was no clear script, and it was really like funny to have this power as an actress, or like as two actors who can just be in the bus. And the guy that we're talking to, who was actually working in the production office, who did a extra for this scene, it was super nice. I mean, like, it was so much fun. And it was really embarrassing also, you know, like being in this really small town and being forced to sing at the central station at 2 o'clock. But I enjoyed it. In the end, I enjoyed it. It was great.
I remember.
I was forced, but I loved it in the end.
I remember when we were editing the film, and when we were at that sequence, it starts when Banafshe and Parviz take off from the refugee shelter and dive into the night, and then meet Amon later. We were so happy about the footage, and we were like lurking for more footage that was that way, because so many other scenes had like such formal ideas, and they were very different from each other. And that sequence, we had like 10, 15 minutes in a row that was living and so like intuitive and spontaneous. And it was, I mean, yeah, it just showed again how much you like, yeah, I think that's the moment where the chemistry really explodes between you three. And yeah, it's still one of my favorite sequences, I think, in the film.
Yeah, I really, really loved that day as well, because it was just, or it was, I don't know if it was several days, but because that was a moment where, as Banafshe said, we just off script sort of bounced off of each other and really just sort of developed this alternative friendship in real time to you know, the relationship that we had already kind of developed on like offset and onset. That was really nice. And there's something so empowering about, especially when you're a body that's burdened with a lot of potential insecurities or things that, you know, the social, political, sort of societal context in which you grew up maybe has not always been sort of a provided you with sort of a backbone of, you know, security when it comes to how you look, what you're saying, what your opinions are. There's something incredibly empowering in being provided that space, literally, because it's like contractually, there's like settings that are, you know, like the restaurant, you know, there's contracts and there's spaces carved out for you to play and have these interactions. And it's it goes as much as it is fun. It goes really deep, and it really changes something about, for me at least. I went out of that project so freaking confident, and I have a lot of like issues and insecurities, but I came out of it and I was like, this is because what you said is so important. It's a film that's sort of celebratory when it comes to pop culture and a utopian sort of beautiful, I don't know, fictional setting of these bodies, and it has all of these subjects, but it's not trying to exploit, as Faraz said, sort of the tragedy of these characters, especially these kids that are refugees in Germany. It's these beautiful images and the sensuality, but it still does something on a very deep level. And it did that for me as a performer as well, because it really strengthened sort of my, I don't know, just the security I feel, in myself. And it's a crazy new sort of social context that I've built. Banafshe and Faraz, and we're all friends, and the other people that I've met on set, it's just, I don't know, it's really a very special moment in time for me. So it's all, while the film is fiction, and I would say that's not me at all as a character, and maybe that's the same for the other two, there's this, it's a very sort of huge monumental experience that touches ground everywhere,
No, it's true. I rewatched it again yesterday, and like, it's just such a beautiful film, and it's just so important to see people of color front and center, especially in queer cinema, because we just don't see it enough, So hopefully things are going to start changing even more. Okay, we have time for sadly only one more question. It's a question for everyone. How on earth was it to screen at the Berlinale, and secondly, to win the Teddy Award?
Crazy. No, I really, I think I'm still, but yeah, still full of happiness and gratefulness, and also, as you said, Benjamin, confidence also. I think like remembering our exchange on what we're gonna wear and how we're gonna like behave and who we want to meet and blah blah. I think it's just such a, because really we like, me as a filmmaker, I really have no connection to that whole scene, and it was such a like a proper rise, I think, because we were working on this project in a very like low budget underground way, and then being there the Berlinale with all those people, and also like with my family and you guys. I think it's probably like one of the best moments of my life so far. And yeah, I mean, I think no one of us would have imagined the film to be seen so, yeah, intensively.
What about you two? How was it?
I think for me, it was also, yeah, I don't know, it was really overwhelming. And I think even like the Teddies was even more overwhelming, because I know the Teddy Awards for so many years, and we were sitting there, like 8 people of us, and we were like, we're in this like German film context, we're always like this group of weird POCs that are friends with no one else in a way. And we were sitting there, and we won like the first prize, which was, I think, the Readers Award. And we were like, okay, wow, we won a prize again, wow. And then in the end, we won this other prize. And then we were like, are you making, like, is this scary moment where there's the blood is coming down? But then, I mean, now I realize that we actually won these prizes, and what I really miss is to hear like what people in Frameline say about the film, what they say in LA about the film. But thanks to social media, I mean, some people are writing to us, but still it's like, yeah, I think this is even more important for me to know that there's people out there who are watching the film and how they feel about it. But I still love the prize. Still great prize.
Yeah, same for me. It was, I think the Berlinale, I couldn't attend the Teddy Awards because I had a premiere. And I think it was just really emotional sitting there with these people, and Faraz and Paulina and Raquel, they made it clear that they wanted as many people from the film to be there as possible. And so we had all of these friends who worked on the set, who did costume and set and everything and camera and assistants, and we had everybody there, even some of the fellow actors that did smaller roles, and it was just this huge sort of very emotional ride. And just as Farah said, there were moments where it wasn't clear if we would get funded enough. We couldn't shoot in a certain year, we had to postpone, and it's just all this time and effort, and then you have this film on a big screen, and all the people that you really care about there, my mom and all of these people. It was really, really something special.
Well, Benjamin, Banafshe, Faraz, thanks so much for being here today. I wish the film my very best, and I hope you all have a good end to summer in Berlin, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. We love you, San Francisco and the US and everything.